The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Women's Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericawomen.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I hope that you are having a beautiful week. And we in America, we just celebrated Memorial Day this past Monday, so yesterday. And I just wanted to take a moment and honor all vets and thank you for your service to us, to our country, to your families. And just if we could take a collective pause, really lifting them up and thanking them for their past and present and future service. And this month, what we've been doing is really focusing on women, particularly women that have influenced us. And we chose this subject for the month because it's Mother's Day month. And so we wanted to take the opportunity today, and I'm going to ask each of my guests to share from their heart about a woman that has impacted them or influenced them in some ways. And actually today we actually have a woman who is a mother and a vet as well on our show today. So Linda, I know we took a collective pause, but I again wanted to thank you for your service to us and to our country.
Thank you, Rebecca. As I told you yesterday, I feel honored in being able to serve my country and that folks are acknowledging that now.
Yeah, absolutely. My dad is a vet too and was in for 23 and a half years. And so it's always, I think, important to take a moment and pause and acknowledge the sacrifice and service. So thank you for being on our show and letting us thank you as well as part of our show today.
Oh, you're so very welcome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And as we're talking about women of influence, we wanted to really focus on being powerful. I think sometimes as women, we can feel disempowered or lose some of our moxie, lose some of our power in day-to-day life. And so as we're focusing on women, we're looking at leadership. We're going to look at wealth. We're going to look at really stepping into your power today because I absolutely believe that is a choice. And what I hope we're able to empower you with today is a way to start practically on a day-to-day basis stepping into your power so that you can really be a woman fully stepping forward in your life. And when we do that, it has an amazing positive impact and ripple effect that I believe can ripple around the world. And wouldn't it be amazing if we could stand in our power, bring our gifts fully forward, and just in doing that, create a global shift and change, allowing space and opportunity for others to do the same. And that is a piece of my vision for the show today, and actually part of the reason I created the show is to really help empower women. And I believe when we do that, we can really transform lives. So let's take a breath together. I love to do that because we rush around so much in life that we forget to pause and breathe and listen. And so part of what you'll experience with us today is hitting the pause button briefly as you're being rejuvenated and refreshed and empowered all in one sitting. So to breathe that in. And today, a woman that I wanted to share with you is my grandmother, Gracio. She really powerfully impacted me. And she moved in with us when I was just towards the end of high school. She had just lost her husband, Grandpa, and they had been together many, many, many years and were part of each other. And I got to know my grandmother, excuse me, as a woman, not just a grandmother figure. And I hadn't had that opportunity with her husband, with my grandpa, Gracio, because I didn't know him on that level. And so here was an opportunity for me to get to know my grandmother and really understand who she was and soak in all her wisdom and just really live life with her. And so we became really close, and we'd go on walks together and Bible studies, and we loved watching old movies, especially with the musicals, and dancing together, and shared the everyday journey of life. And something she taught me in that time was how she lived her life. So here's a new widow who was having to relearn how to do everything. And in high school, I don't know if I fully appreciated that like I do now, looking back. And she was learning to drive again. She was learning how to do the financial things. Does she want to live on her own? Does she want to? What type of a house does she want? Does she want a house? Like, she was figuring out all of that stuff now that she was, in a sense, restarting life in a new phase. What was that going to look like? Who was she now as this single person? Who was she? And one of the phrases she taught me during that time was, what are they going to do? I'm the grandma. My grandmother was Italian. Feisty, compressed big is how my father would explain her, because she's little in this petite package, but really a powerful woman. And when she would come up against my comfort zone in some areas, she would say that phrase. And I didn't always appreciate it. But looking back, she actually has influenced generations with this phrase. And I share it at most of my live events, because what she not only said to me, but what she witnessed to me and showed me in her life was, I am, in a sense, not waiting for permission. I'm going to fully be who I am. And what are they going to do? I am this. And she claimed it. And there was real power in that. And you can talk to her children, you can talk to her grandchildren. And she had this little wrist movement she would do. She'd flick her wrist, go, what are they going to do? I'm the grandma. And I look at that and I think, so many times in our life, we wait for permission. And what I have seen her witness and pass on through the generations is this, wait a minute, what if I fully show up? Let's claim that and stand in it. And she does that. And you can just do that wrist movement with anyone in her family and they'll finish the sentence. And instead of saying the grandma, they'll say their name now. So it's not just about grandma. And here's what my grandmother did. She learned how to line dance. She got a silver sports car, goes 25 down the road. She got her own home. She has a little dog now. Like, she built her life. She figured out where she started and stopped and really lives fully. And I thought, my goodness, what if we could do the same in our life? Wouldn't that be a world that we would love to live in, where we are fully stepping forward, not waiting for someone to grant us permission or waiting for someone else to dictate how we start and stop. But let's find out where we really start and stop, and let's bring that forward. So what I'd love to have you do, for those of you who are driving, stay safe, both hands on the wheels. Those of you who are able to, go ahead and put both feet on the floor. Take a deep breath. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head, and close your eyes. I promise you're absolutely safe. Take a deep breath in. And I'd love for you, just for a moment, to listen and see, what is it you need today to empower you on your journey? How can you step forward just a little bit more, unapologetically, sharing fully who you are, claiming it? I'm the, but you put your name in at the end of that sentence. What is it you need? And just listen. Sometimes it'll be a feeling, a thought, an emotion, wisdom that comes to your heart. And breathe that in one more time. And listeners, when we take a moment to pause and listen, we can tap into great wisdom and encouragement, and we can open up our eyes and our hearts and our ears in a little bit different way with more focus and purpose. So with that, I have two amazing guests today, and I didn't know if Linda, if you had something laid upon your heart that you wanted to share with us.
Thanks, Rebecca. Yes. Strength actually is what came to me. As I was thinking of the woman who inspired me the most, she was always willing to remain true to her values, and yet she was willing to risk the unknown. And that's what came to me, was that ability to stay true to your values and yet still risk what you don't know is coming. And that provides really a strong basis for you.
Beautiful. Strength. Thank you. Even if we don't know what's coming. Beautiful. Thank you. Well, and Teresa, did you have something on your heart?
Well, what came to me was gratitude. Gratitude for all those who have come before us, for the impact that they have had on our lives and the lives of others, and gratitude for the impact that we have on those around us, even without any indication to ourselves as to how we may have impacted someone around us. So gratitude and awareness that no matter what we're doing, we are somehow part of the whole ripple effect in the universe.
Beautiful. Thank you. I love that, because I believe nothing ever comes back empty. It is all used, and we don't always know where the ripples will flow. But it encourages me when I am not always aware of the impact that something is having on another life or a future generation. We just don't know the impact something we share or a hug or an encouragement can have, especially when there's so much unknown. Linda, I was thinking about your comment of strength and gratitude. I think that's so beautiful, Teresa. Thank you. So listeners, here's what I would love for you to do is capture that word or the thought that came to your heart. And as we're going into our commercial break here, I invite you to really sit in this space for a little while longer and see what's laid on your heart, what it is that you need. Really steep in gratitude and awareness and strength. And we'll look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Are you struggling with changing or re-entering your career? Terry Hockett, CEO of What's for Work and transitional career strategist, works with her clients to craft their personal brand, gain clarity, and create career opportunities. Terry helps her clients discover and stand in their value and learn the tools and techniques needed to successfully navigate today's changing job market. Start today with your free membership. Step powerfully into the career of your dreams. Join Terry at whatsforwork.com.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed that commercial break and you had an opportunity to really listen and immerse yourself in strength and gratitude and awareness. And here's a tip or a way that you can dial up the awareness. Is if you've thought of somebody that's impacted you in a positive way, that's influenced you, that served you in some way, encouraged you on your journey, I invite you to write that name down and set aside just a minute or 2 minutes today to send them a quick email, give them a quick call, let them know they've made a difference in your life and how. Not just that they made a difference, but try to give a specific example or information. It will be such an encouragement on their journey and impact them in a powerful way as well. So now we're actually shifting gears a little bit, and I'm going to introduce our first guest expert that is actually a really good friend of mine, and I'm excited to pick her brain and share some of her wisdom with all of you. Her name is Linda Patten, and she has a master's in organizational behavior and leadership. She is passionate. I love this phrase, Linda. That's why I was starting to laugh. I love it. It's with warmth. That she has a real heart and passion for the reluctant leaders. People that are called to leadership or perhaps in it, but maybe feel a little bit of hesitancy or reluctance or shy away from calling themselves a leader, and really has this heart to empower them and to step into leadership fully. She's been developing leader for 40 years and was actually selected, I want to make sure I get this right, but in the Army, there was a speaking group, correct? Or speaking, can you explain what that was?
Yeah, we spoke to high school juniors and seniors about our experiences with the military to help recruit them into the military.
Beautiful. So you were really selected as almost a spokesperson for that.
Yes, and the only woman on a team.
Oh, very powerful, very powerful. And here's a little thing I didn't know about you, Linda, that I'm going to share so everyone will know now.
Oh, dear.
You've been speaking since 7 years old. So many years she's been speaking and sharing and serving in a really powerful way. So Linda, it is my honor to bring you and share you officially on the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Rebecca. And it's a delight to be here and to share with your audience and just spend some time with you. It's always my pleasure.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. And I'd love for you to share why this work of encouraging and supporting and developing leaders, particularly the reluctant ones, is so important to you. Why? Why do you spend your time on that and really feel that calling in your heart?
Rebecca, as you know, I was a reluctant leader. I talk about the fact that I've been teaching leaders for 40 years. I started when I was 2. And yet I never really stepped into leadership. I always was the person behind the curtain. I was the person who was, behind the general or whatever it was. I always felt like I was just doing my job. And it really wasn't until someone in a workshop asked me, she thought that I was going to lead them in an exercise, and I thought, why would you think that? She said, well, I expect that of you. It's just who you are. And so I recognized it in me, and I've been seeing it, obviously, for years in other people, and went, someone needs to help them to step in, step up, and step out into their leadership. And so it's what I've been doing, and I'm passionate about it. I love herding cats, and this is just a way to make that happen.
I love that. Step in, step up, and step out. I think that's a really powerful phrase or mantra that we could be taking on. Well, thank you for sharing and that you really understand that journey of being a little reluctant and not necessarily seeing yourself as the leader that you are. And what a powerful shift we can all make as we step into it and really claim that power. So thank you.
Welcome.
And the next question I have for you, you touched on a little bit in our share in the first segment, But there's a woman that really inspired you, and you commented on her strength a little bit. Do you mind sharing a little bit more about who this woman is and how she inspired you?
Absolutely. You'd think, having studied as many leaders as I've had, like Eleanor Roosevelt and Oprah and those kinds of people, that it would be someone like that. And to be honest with you, it's my mom. She really was the leader that I looked to for guidance. She was an extremely strong woman. She lived in a time when strong women were not in leadership positions. She was an executive secretary, an office manager. I mean, she was at the top of her career. She ran the office with an iron hand and a velvet glove. But she represented, to me, what women could have. She also had a family, which, as I like to say, was small and mighty, as I was an only child. She was an accomplished crafter, but she had a bent towards perfectionism, and it never stopped her. She actually created my entire sweater wardrobe when I was in high school. And she loved gardening and all this other stuff. So she was always the person who was the chairperson. She was a community leader before there ever were community leaders. She was my Girl Scout and Brownie leader. She took us all the way through high school. She always had just the right project for us to work on. I like to say she was bold, she was daring, and something that really wasn't expected in the Ozzie and Harriet environment. So she really was my role model, even though she and I didn't necessarily have a relationship when I was in high school and even into college.
Well, thank you. I'm just soaking in some of what you shared, and I think it's funny. I just read a little post on Facebook. So I don't know if many of our listeners are on Facebook, but it was talking about women that have impacted us, and it was like 15 keys or secrets to powerful women or women making an impact. And a lot of it was that they were bold, that they were unapologetic, and that they were daring. They were willing to have a no once in a while, to step forward and claim what they want or to ask the question. They didn't hold back. And to me, that strikes me as a little bit like your mother, and that these are women that can really make a powerful impact. It's boldly showing up and sharing who we are. So thank you for sharing about that, Linda. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. She was a great lady.
Now, tying this into leadership, is there a way perhaps that she influenced you to embrace that a little more strongly than perhaps you would have without her influence?
Yeah, my mom was really interesting. We had some really deep conflicts in our family, so I didn't really get to know her, as I said, until much later in life. And yet, when I experienced her and what I saw really influenced the types of careers that I had, the successes that I had, and the leadership that I now utilize with my tribe. She set the example, and that's how I lead other people. She was one who would never let me not go for the biggest and best. So when I said, "Hey, Mom, I want to be a nurse," she said, no, you don't. You want to be a doctor. You want to be able to control. You want to be able to lead. You want to be able to make changes in people's lives through their health. And I went, okay. But she was the one who also influenced me to step into a military career and to take a leadership role in the military. It was something that I hadn't really thought about. It's like she was a secretary. I guess I'll be a secretary or a nurse. And actually, when I sat down and talked with her about that, she said, no. If you're going in the military, go in as an officer. You don't want to go in as an enlisted. You, again, want to lead people. You want to be the person out front. And I'm sort of sitting there going, not me. But and talking to my dad and my mom and watching her and the joy that she had in what she did, it definitely influenced me to come out of hiding and to seize the opportunities that I had to lead, even though at the time I thought it was just my job. Now I'm passionate about leading women to realize what I've learned, that to lead, to dream, and to have what really inspires them. That's where I want those reluctant leaders to go.
Beautiful. Thank you. Inspiring leaders. And listeners, can you see how it's just a perfect alignment for Linda and the work that she does? And she's generously put together an amazing free gift for us. Linda, do you mind explaining a little bit about what this free gift is and how they might be able to use it in their life?
Well, I basically try to answer three questions. First one is, am I a leader? You're just understanding that, everyday things that you do really do have leadership aspects to it. To even, do I want to be a leader? And then how do I go about doing that? So what I shared with your listeners, Rebecca, is a way to discover whether they are a leader. There's an assessment that has them looking at the 10 top secrets of women leaders. And when they check that, they also get free the first lesson in the first step of my 12-step program, The Art of Herding Cats, Leading Teams of Leaders, which is a skill-based program to groom these reluctant leaders into powerfully successful leaders.
I love that. And just commenting on that, because you've shared this with me before, that when we look at a lot of the great leaders in history, they were good leaders, but they became great by studying and developing the skills and learning from other leaders. And that has kind of stuck with me, because I think sometimes we think they just magically appear, but those who went from good to great and had a huge impact really studied and developed and were mentored and groomed. Is that correct, or do you want to add something to that?
Yeah, absolutely. While reluctant leaders think that you have to be born with talent to be able to be a good leader, and yet the men and women that I've seen and I've studied who are absolutely exceptional leaders, and ones that you go, oh yeah, that's a leader. They were groomed. They learned from each other. They learned from classes, they learned the steps and the skills that they could repeat. And so if they made a mistake, they would go back and look at, well, what did I do? How is this different from what I learned? How can I improve that? And I think that's really key. We're so afraid of making a mistake. And what I love to say is, did your kids come with an instruction manual? Because you make mistakes with them all the time. So why are we afraid to step into leadership and possibly make a mistake? And so the program I put together is one that makes it very easy for people to learn the skills that will make them amazing leaders, and that they can go back to if they've made a mistake or they don't remember something. It's a great resource for them to be able to become that inspirational leader.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for making this gift available to all of our listeners. I really appreciate that. And I love that this is almost like that acid test. You can decide, yes, I am a leader, and no, I'm not. So it's really great to know, and then really decide if you're willing to step more fully into that role instead of kind of reluctantly, kind of half-heartedly doing it. It really, in a sense, I believe, gives you that freedom to fully realize, yes, this is who I am, and I choose to step forward and lead in this way. And with that, listeners, I promise I will let you know how to access those gifts, but you have to stay till the end of the show. And when we come back, I'm going to be introducing and interviewing our next amazing expert. We'll look forward to talking to you soon.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Are you struggling with changing or re-entering your career? Terry Hockett, CEO of What's for Work and transitional career strategist, works with her clients to craft their personal brand, gain clarity, and create career opportunities. Terry helps her clients discover and stand in their value and learn the tools and techniques needed to successfully navigate today's changing job market. Start today with your free membership. Step powerfully into the career of your dreams. Join Terry at whatsforwork.com.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed that commercial break and you got to think a little bit about leadership and where are you in that? And is there more of you willing and thinking about stepping forward in more of a leadership role? And one of the things I like to share with my clients is I believe that we have an opportunity, whether we're called to lead others or lead a vision forward, I believe we have a calling to be a leader in our own life, to really step into that leadership position like my grandmother did and bring it all forward and lead our life in the way that we're called to fully be. So I encourage you to really lean into learning more about leadership and where you start and stop in all of that and in your life. So my next guest expert, I'm really excited to bring to you. Her name is Teresa Cherry. And she is for over 20 years, she has been really helping empower people with their personal income and taxes and providing financial consulting services to really help that middle-sized business, particularly those owned by family, to empower them to navigate through the landscape out there so that they can be in a more empowered place. Teresa, I officially welcome you to the show.
Well, thank you very much. It's a delight to be here.
And you also formed, I want to make sure I mention this, the Family Wealth Collective to serve them as well. Do you mind sharing a sentence about that? I thought that was really, really powerful.
So many times, particularly closely held businesses and their owning families need so many services from so many different professionals. And so many times the professionals, the family owner ends up being the translator among the professionals because the professionals don't interact. The Family Wealth Collective is a group of seasoned professionals from a diverse group of disciplines that actually talk to each other and collaborate in the best interest of the client. So they get together before client meetings and put together the strategies and the services that might best serve that particular client project, rather than having the client going from one to another.
I think that is so powerful. Thank you for sharing about that. So it's really this group of seasoned, I like how you emphasize that, seasoned, experienced professionals,
yes,
working together collectively to serve businesses. So I think that's really, really powerful. So I just want to thank you for creating and forming that and having that vision and bringing it to fruition to serve so many businesses.
Thank you.
And
well,
go ahead.
There's a very delicate balance between planning for one's business and planning for one's personal wealth. And that coordination between personal planners and business consultants and planners and people who are helping the business owner add value to his business is very important.
And I think it takes a collective focus like that. Absolutely.
It does. It certainly does. At least we find that it does.
Beautiful. Thank you. And before we dig too much into some of the amazing tips and information you're going to be sharing with us, do you mind sharing a little bit of your heart in this? Why supporting businesses in this way is so important to you?
Well, basically, it has to do greatly about money. Money has always been very important in my family and in my life. It seems to have almost been a member of the family as opposed to being just adjunct. And I think that happens particularly to people who have started their own businesses, and particularly when there are members of the family who work in the business and who are outside of the business. In that there is a lot of misunderstanding and sometimes some discord around money and the business and the amount of time that the owners spend in the business and their passion for the business many times. And one of the things that the business owner has to realize is that although he or she would very much like to take as many resources as possible at their disposal to grow the business and put back into the business, that there is a need for personal wealth growth as well, because the business, although it may be viewed by the owning family as not a very high risk venture and something that they're very comfortable with and very comfortable with some of the risks that are involved, it really is putting all your eggs in one basket, as it were. And so it has to be a delicate balance between the capital that is used for business growth and the monies and funds that are set aside for the personal wealth growth of the family.
Yep. No, that makes a lot of sense. I was thinking about some of the large businesses that I used to work with in their retirement plans, and they wanted to put a lot of company stock in the plan itself. And not that that was a bad thing, but I think people didn't realize they were putting the higher percent they were putting in that, the more eggs they were putting in one basket. Like everything was, in a sense, being invested in the business. And if something went sideways there, it could affect everything, not just one piece. So I think it's really powerful that you're guiding people through finding that delicate balance for their business of investing in it, but also having value that they're building. Beautiful. And I know during the commercial breaks, a behind the scenes moment, listeners, we were sharing a little bit about women who had inspired us. And I didn't know, Teresa, if you wanted to share just briefly someone or a woman who has inspired you.
Well, it was very interesting that Linda said her mother, and I think that we are all greatly influenced by our mothers and grandmothers because both my mom and my grandmother were stay-at-home homemakers. But I also looked to many historical figures. Most recently, I just got a very interesting blurb about Sasquatchania, who is the Native American woman who depicted on those. We do have a dollar coin in the United States that people kind of know about, but they're not used very much. And it's interesting that the first two individuals that were placed on those coins happened to be women. The Sasquatchania was part of the Lewis and Clark expedition. And her great value, and I think it's something that many women who are raising families and feel that they have to put some of their leadership qualities and their careers and their dreams on hold because they're nurturing children and family, really have to look at the impact that they have on those around them. Because one of the things that the biography that I read said was one of the reasons that Lewis and Clark got across the country without being scalped or worse was because they did have a woman with a child with them, and therefore they were seen as coming in peace by the various Native groups that they had to visit as they made their way across the country. So just by her presence, she was a peacemaker.
Beautiful. I love that. Just by her presence and being in our lives can have a huge impact. That's beautiful. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate that. And I know that you've put together an amazing gift for our listeners. Do you mind taking a moment to share a little bit about that?
Of course. What I have done, because, of course, my career and my mission really does revolve around finance and money, I've put together an executive summary that gives the viewer, or gives the person who downloads it, information about some places to find money for your business and to get your message to a wider audience. It basically funding sources fall into 4 categories: leverage, which is debt or other people's money; equity, ways that you can share ownership in your business with prospective investors or people that can help you in the business; and what I like to call money for nothing, which is, out there are grants and contests that are just begging for small business owners to shine their light to the world and perhaps get funded that way. And then the newest one is crowdfunding, which was just recently enacted 2012 as part of the Jobs Act, and gives business owners a way to highlight their products and services and get public feedback, as well as generate funding for their business.
Powerful. Well, thank you so much. One of the things I hear from businesses all the time and entrepreneurs are that they need funding and they want exposure. So to me, that's a beautiful summary that you've put together, really empowering them in both areas. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Making that available.
Well, even if people don't feel they are ready, but they have an entrepreneurial bend, this is good information just to have in your reference library for the time when you will be looking for money for growth, because that's the way so many businesses grow.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for making that available. And listeners, when we come back from our commercial break, I promise I will let you know how to access these amazing gifts that both of our generous gifts are making available to you to really get traction in your life, to really help you move forward in a powerful way. So make sure to join us for the last segment, and we'll look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Are you struggling with changing or re-entering your career? Terry Hockett, CEO of What's for Work and transitional career strategist, works with her clients to craft their personal brand, gain clarity, and create career opportunities. Terry helps her clients discover and stand in their value and learn the tools and techniques needed to successfully navigate today's changing job market. Start today with your free membership. Step powerfully into the career of your dreams. Join Terry at whatsforwork.com.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to empowering women, transforming lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed that commercial break. And as promised, I was going to let you know how to access these amazing gifts. And then I've also asked my guests to share one additional tip or information that you can start applying right now as you're looking to stepping forward powerfully in your leadership with your money to really be able to step forward in a positive way from the information and content that you're getting in our show today. I love to see action tied to information. So we will give some of that to you in this closing segment. But first, let me honor sharing how to get these amazing gifts that both of our generous guests have shared with us. If you're listening to us live on the voiceamerica.com channel, you simply look over to the right-hand side and you'll see red words, the wording in red. You'll see a bunch of links listed. The first one there is radio show gifts. You simply click on that, open it up, put your name and email address in there so we can stay in touch, and choose the amazing gifts that support you from our guests today, as well as you'll see prior guests also offering amazing gifts to support you on your journey. And then secondly, if you're listening to the replay, you can simply go to my website to access the same gifts at www.yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Again, that's yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. You click on that and open it up. That's my main website. Click on the radio tab, and on the upper left-hand corner of the radio tab, you're going to see Empowering Gifts. You click on that, go through the same process, and you'll have these amazing tools, gifts, and resources to support you on your journey. Now, I asked Linda if she had some tips or a suggestion or idea of something that could help you in your life and with your leadership skills, and she said yes. So, Linda, do you mind sharing the tips or ideas or suggestions you have with us?
Thank you, Rebecca. Yeah, actually I have three.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is always have a vision of where you're going and aim high. I like to say aim for the stars, and if the worst case, you'll hit the moon. Second, practice, practice, practice. It's how you become an expert, especially in leadership. So once you've learned those skills, practice them daily. And then last of all, fill your heart with joy. Be grateful for all that's in your life and celebrate every accomplishment, from something big like a promotion to the smallest little thing like picking up the phone and calling somebody. I think those are all really, really important for leaders to begin to step into their leadership and to get out from behind the curtain.
Beautiful. Aim high, practice, and celebrate. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate your share. And then, Teresa, do you mind sharing why it's important for business owners to begin with, to have this long-term view? I love that in your questions, and I feel like it ties really well into having a plan that Linda shared. So, Teresa, do you mind sharing why it's important for business owners to have a long view?
Well, as we all know, and Stephen Covey has immortalized, shall I say, begin with the end in mind. That is true about life, and it is true about business. If you know where you're going, you're going to get there more quickly with fewer bumps in the road. And certainly it will give you a better way, an easier way to make business decisions. If you know that your business is going to be a lifestyle business when you start it, and you're looking for additional income and something to keep in the family, then you'll make decisions about where you go for funding and how involved you and your family are in the business in a different way than if you were perhaps, like many entrepreneurs now, start a business with a product and a service or a service that has a specific end in mind. They know they're going to sell to a publicly held company. They know which division or whatever. They have a target market, as it were, for their business even before they started or as they're going through the business planning. And therefore, in one case in particular, I dealt with a business where the young entrepreneurs knew exactly to whom they wanted to sell the business, and they got a premium for that business because when they did the packaging for the product, when they did the marketing, everything was the same color scheme. Their logo looked kind of like the logo of the target company, etc. So it makes a big difference if you know where you're going, so you can easily get there, or at least get there without too many bumps in the road or changes in direction.
Powerful. Thank you. I love that, because if we can really look at where we're going and what we're planning, I believe all those steps just start to fall into place. And I love that, how you said fewer bumps in the road. And I think many of us would like fewer bumps in the road of life.
Absolutely, because if you're going to have a business, you might as well grow its value to something that is significant and transferable, whether that's to an outside party or to family or investors or whatever.
Exactly. So thank you. Thank you. Beautiful share.
Thank you.
Great perspective. So business owners really think about that, or those who are looking at starting a business, really take the time to look at where you're wanting it to grow, what you're wanting it to be, and then get a collective of experts to support you in that journey. And I had a listener send in a question that I just wanted to share with all of you, and she's given me permission to share her name. It's Melissa Kirk with Intuitive, and she's an intuitive business coach. And her business name is Your Life, Your Way. So this is Melissa Kirk. And her question is, how does knowing your purpose change your business, life, and finances? And I just felt like this tied in really well to the conversation we're having today, because I believe knowing your purpose helps everything fall into place. It becomes the measure, in a sense, the benchmark. Like, is this helping me get closer to my purpose or further away? Just like, is this the plan? Is this in alignment with where I'm trying to go? When we know our purpose, I believe it brings a lot of clarity to what we're building and the how we build it, because it should be bringing us closer to our purpose, whether this is in our business or if this is in our life. So I encourage everyone to really lean in and discover what your purpose is, what you're called to bring forward in your business, in your life, and then take the time to plan, aim high, practice the skills that you're building along the way, and celebrate each step in the journey. And this will profoundly change your life and have an amazing ripple effect that can carry on throughout the world and throughout the generations by bringing you fully forward in the way that you're called to be in the world. And that is a huge gift to each and every one of us. So let's take one more collective breath together. And as you step forward this week, what I invite you to do, and perhaps challenge you a bit, to really lean in and look at how you're spending your time and your energy and your resources. And are you investing them? Are you spending them on purpose, purposely, with awareness, in alignment with who you are and what you're trying to build? And if you discover perhaps there's a misalignment there, that is an opportunity for you to step into a leadership place in that area and bring it back into alignment, because you are an amazing gift and resource to every person in your life. And I want to make sure that you are living in such a way that you are valued, because you are amazing and valuable, that you are beautifully and wonderfully made, that you're bringing every part of you forward with purpose. And that wherever you go in life, may you always, always bloom where you're planted and shine. We look forward to talking to you next week.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Women's Channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.